with the Arts Commission. And Jen, if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and then make whatever presentation you'd like to make.
Sure. I'm Jennifer Cole, I'm the Executive Director. I'll let you all introduce yourself.
Paula Roberts, and I chair the Arts Commission.
I'm Ian Myers. I'm the Finance Manager for the Arts Commission.
And we also have joining us Larry Keaton and Matt Fisher, who are also commissioners. So, I want to sort of start by thanking the administration for the support of the Arts Commission over the last handful of years. I think unequivocally I can say that you and the entire administration support us, and if the 2% reduction goes through, we will continue to manage and do what we have done. I want to talk about some of the things we've done in the last couple of years to manage increasing efficiency with less, and then try to make the case for some of the improvement requests. We have implemented a nationally recognized system for outcome measures for our grants, which the NEA is actually studying as a model right now, sort of trying to show our ROI for the existing dollars that we pass through. We've worked with Metro 3 and Nashville.gov and the IT department to do economies of scale and sort of reduced outsource cost. And we continue to do private fundraising and looking at other revenue models to alternate our funding. I think I wanted to just sort of paint the picture that if the 2% cut is enacted, it will basically take our programming funding to the level it was in 2000. In that time, the population has grown by almost 65,000 people. In particular, our Hispanic population and our youth population have grown dramatically. And the population has really shifted away from the urban core where a lot of our cultural institutions are. At the same time, we've had a remarkable renaissance in Nashville as a mecca for all kinds of creative talent and job relocation in design, in music, and film, and fashion. And so what we want to be able to do as an organization is meet the needs of the growing city, at the same time continuing to look at economies of scale and efficiency with our existing budget. In order to continue to drive innovation, I think that we're looking and have made a request for improvements that will do three real things. One, help us retain jobs in the community, particularly creative jobs that are growing. To improve innovation and new works that are presented here and then become exports for the city, and to increase creative participation. And so some of the targeted requests for improvement really are about driving to those outcomes. I want to talk just a couple of areas of just some numbers that I think are impressive to me. Just with the grants that we funded in the last 6 months, we engaged directly almost 1,100 employees in cultural organizations and 1,500 contractors. And just in the last 6 months in this fiscal year, those organizations that we've directly funded have added 18 new jobs. So the idea that the grants budget is not just sort of a nice thing to do and an important thing to do, but it is really creating economic vibrancy. We've literally provided programming in every single metro school in the last 6 months, with 55,000 students receiving impact in programming. Much of that is subsidized and low cost or free. And in the last 6 months, 9,000 free public arts activities in arts and creative activities due to this sort of work. So making the case that even though we're a small budget with a small department, we do a lot with the resources that we're given, and with small increases could do much more. And the other thing that's sort of in our request for improvement is that we have tried to, at a national scale, draw conventioners and convention traffic to the city. We are hosting the South Arts Performing Arts Exchange Conference this September and the Americans for the Arts National Convention next year, which are in the fiscal year plan. It's expected that between those two conventions we'll draw about 1,600 conventioners, which is small for the convention market, but based on the CBB numbers, that's about $1.2 million in economic impact. So really just trying to do the best job with the resources that we have and to really drive impact for the administration and for the city. And I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Okay, you have improvements that you're requesting. Could you describe what those are?
Sure. Two of them are one-time improvements related to the Americans for the Arts Convention, requesting some contract funding for a staff person for a period of time, as well as one of the requirements in our contract to manage the convention is supporting artists. So some of the other $25,000 would be for paying local artists and performers to participate during the conference. The other improvements really fall into the categories of arts education and direct artist programming. I think that you know our budget is sort of three buckets. It's people, grants, about $75,000 of our Metro operating budget goes back out in terms of the grants. 75%. And then the rest is sort of our staff and overhead. One of the areas we're lacking, particularly in competing with other cities, is direct artist programming. So the other buckets really are about resources that would allow us to bring artists into communities that don't have arts infrastructure through two main ways. Arttober, which allows us to do targeted programming in parks and libraries and other public spaces with artists, and directly stipending those artists. The Art Makes Place program would be a grant-based program where neighborhoods could apply to do temporary art programs in their communities with professional artists, modeled after programs in DC. So the improvements really are around expanding reach and targeting populations that are growing and changing but aren't necessarily participating in our currently funded arts organizations. Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you talked about you have three major procurement processes going on now for public art. You have the civil rights work,
Yes.
the KVB roundabout, which is the new roundabout by the convention center, which is a big one, and then of course the Southeast Library Community Center complex at Old Hickory, which is another big one.
Yes.
What just fill us in on that?
Sure. The Southeast piece, we've narrowed down to 4 artists, and we are working with them on site visits this summer, and we would expect site-specific proposals by the end of the summer. The civil rights artists have until April 30th to do their site-specific proposals, and KVB will be reviewing site-specific proposals on April 5th. In the upcoming fiscal year, we've proposed additional projects in Bellevue, potentially in Edmondson Park, the Lentz Health Center, and several other sort of smaller projects in the capital spending for FY14.
The new Lentz Health Center would seem to be a really great spot for
fantastic
a big piece of public art.
Yeah, we worked with the design team as it's under construction to identify locations and are waiting for the property transfer, and then we'll proceed. I'm also really excited to say that by the end of May we'll have 12 new pieces of public art installed. 6 of the Watermarks flood-related public art pieces and 6 of the new bike racks will be installed by the end of May, all of which are local artist commissions.
And they're not all downtown?
No, in fact they're all in 12 different neighborhoods.
That's good news.
Yeah.
And you do anything further with MTA? I was just thinking.
Yes.
The poetry in motion thing was great.
Yep.
The more art stuff on the buses would be great.
Yes, we
I'd like to see that.
We're fully supportive. Actually,
So would I.
Yeah, we would too. We think the intersection between art and transit is a great opportunity, both in terms of fixed art and pop-up art. Poetry in Motion will launch next week. We have 11 new poems. It was a community-wide contest, and they're going to be doing a public reading at Church Street Park to kind of activate the park, and then the buses will go in again. And then this coming fiscal year in FY14, the Poetry in Motion program will be at intersection with the NCAA Women's Final Four. And the theme of the poems will be about women in empowerment. So we're tying it all together.
Good. Well, I mean, we're opening the new BRT light on Murfreesboro Road.
Yep.
And I just, riding the bus, it's good. It's a great way to get people excited about what's going on with arts, and it's good for the buses too.
The transit shelters have been incredibly popular that we did on the 28th Avenue connector, and we're really open to both fixed opportunities with transit and then temporary opportunities within transit. There's lots of modeling around the country, and we could easily replicate and do far better than some of our other cities and that sort of stuff. So,
Okay.
wide open.
Rich, any particular art project you're interested in or want to talk about?
No, I mean, my neighborhood had the art project installed.
I was there for the.
Great.
It was very nice.
Very nice.
And actually, the art project in your neighborhood, Lipscomb, we've got a new partnership with them where their Ayers Institute for Teacher Training is developing Common Core curriculum guides on every piece of art that we
that's
do.
good.
And they're starting with Aileron in Rich's neighborhood. So hopefully, as we go
Couldn't
forward, we
say
may be the only city in the country that would have Common Core guides.
Do we have public art in our
Public
neighborhood?
art.
It's coming.
All right.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Any budgetary questions, Rich?
I have no budgetary questions, Mayor.
Greg?
No, nothing.
Okay, well, thank you all. You got a great group of people on the commission. I mean, it really is a good commission. I know this is one of those commissions where the folks on it are very passionate about the subject matter and are true advocates for your work, and we appreciate that. And Paula, thanks for chairing.
Thank you.
And we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, sir.
It is a major part of the city and a real important part of the city, and I think as Nashville continues to sort of develop as a attractive place for people to live and people to visit public art, and the arts work is going to be absolutely vital. And it's something that I get citizens come up all the time and say how much they like it. So
Thanks.
good work.
We want to keep doing that, and we want to keep doing more and better. So
Okay.
thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now,